Let's go to the Canadian International AutoShow.
Louis V sandals, crazy, hoes act scandalous. Yeah, these supermodel bitches be fans. Drop the pack up to a man and then I go hold hands with her. Louis V sandals, crazy, hoes act scandalous. Yeah, these supermodel bitches be fans. Drop the pack up to a man and then I go hold hands with her.
Okay. So this past weekend, I went to the auto show in Toronto and I had to take the GO train super early in the morning, so I just got a quick breakfast in Union while I waited for the venue to open. This was my first year at the auto show and I've heard that it's been getting worse and worse over the years, so I kind of had low expectations going in. And I'm not in the market for a new car, but I'm going to kind of decide at the end which of these cars I would get if I did want to buy a new car. If you know anything about me, I love Porsches, and one of the first cars I saw when I walked in was this gorgeous green RWB Porsche. And yeah, I'm just going to say Porsche because I don't know the different generations, but I think it was a 911 something. It's a classic one. Next, we had the Volt, which had some classics, micro cars, Lotuses, Ferraris, and Lamborghinis. But some of them that stood out to me were the Ferrari SF90, the Lamborghini Diablo SVR, the Murcielago, and of course, this Koenigsegg CCR, and this lovely 911 GT3R. Now, onto the classics. This 61 Corvette and this 71 Cuda both caught my eye, and I just love the color on that Cuda. It's absolutely gorgeous. And there's also this 03 BMW Z8, but is early 2000s really considered classic? I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments. Moving on, the next room had, more cars. And I didn't really spend too much time here, so I can't say too much about it, but there were a lot of race cars. And there's even more than I thought there were when I was walking around, just reviewing the footage. There's a ton of race cars in there. We ran into the York Regional Police, and after I got arrested, they let me sit in the Mustang. And it's a different horse logo than I'm used to, but surprisingly, it was very comfortable sitting in a Mustang at my height. So maybe I'll trade my Bronco in for one. So yeah, if you want to drive a Mustang squad car, you can go ahead and join the YRP. And they also had an Explorer squad car, but that is a little more lame than a Mustang. I don't know. We didn't end up going into the Hot Wheels store because there was such a long lineup, but right outside there was this life-size Hot Wheel, so that was pretty cool. Finally, we were on the main floor and there was so much stuff here and it was so busy that unfortunately didn't get to see everything. As much as I really wanted to go and see every single car, I didn't have the opportunity to, but I did see these two gorgeous Porsches. Lots of McLarens, specifically the W1, P1, and the F1, and I still can't get over the W1. The satin hood and the gloss exterior, the carbon tub, the yellow interior, the gull-wing doors, it's all just wow. McLaren is one of my favorite supercar companies, so of course I'm gonna like it. And one of the stars of the show is this, the Pagani Utopia. And I can't really say much here because if you like it, you like it, and if you don't, you're wrong. But the body is absolutely stunning. The black and red carbon fiber, the body lines, the taillights, this wing, I'm not really sure what to call it. And of course, weirdly enough, one of my favorite parts of the car is the quad exhaust placement. I don't know what it is about it, but it's just so unique and I don't think I've seen it anywhere else before. I just love it every single time I look at a Pagani. In Forza. Oh, and fun fact, the engine is actually made by AMG. And next, I went to pay Hyundai a visit. And this was an interesting exhibit because it was actually interactable. You can touch and go into the cars, obviously, since these are production cars that wouldn't send you into generational debt if you damage them. The Hyundai Santa Fe is a midsize SUV and is kind of a mom car, but I actually did consider getting this instead of my Bronco when I was shopping around. The front end is gorgeous and the design in general is just great. But in my opinion, the rear end is just a little too flat to me. I would prefer if it had more depth and definition to it, just something to give it more character and not make it look like it was just an afterthought. And the taillight placement isn't great. I feel like if the taillights were raised a little higher, it would make the rear end look a lot better. Hyundai does generally have amazing designs. Even the Hyundai Tucson, which is another car that I considered getting, it looks good even with it being simple and regular traffic. It's also quite affordable, economic, and feature-rich, which is what really made me want to get one. But moving on, we all know Hyundai absolutely cooks when it comes to their concept cars. And well, the Creator concept was at this show, and this is just sick. It's an electric off-road EV that actually looks rugged. And now, even though I love Rivians, unlike the Rivian, this has an angular design, and unlike the Cybertruck, it actually accomplishes it well. It's not just a few straight lines. It's got straight lines and a little bit of curvature to it, so it gives it some good definition and a nice design and look to it. And this is a car I could see myself and many other people driving every day. I know the general consensus on the Cybertruck is that it looks like a dumpster. It's the kind of car that I would want to drive maybe once or twice occasionally in my life, but I wouldn't want to own one and drive it every single day. But the Crater concept I would have in my garage and drive every single day to work if I needed to. I couldn't see inside, but the interior has a mix of digital and analog controls that should make the majority of consumers happy. I also saw this Ioniq 6N, and the rear wing makes me actually like this. The Ioniq 6 is probably one of my least favorite Hyundai models, but I could actually see myself driving the 6N. And lastly, I took a look at the Ioniq 9. This was my first time ever seeing it, and the front and sides look great to me, but the rear end does look a little bit odd, and I still can't figure out what it is that's odd to me. I think generally, I personally prefer the rear end to not be a little too flat, just add a little bit more definition, and it could just be that I'm used to my car and how I have the spare tire on the back of it. I think either something like that on a perfectly flat rear, or maybe, a little bit of like an angle on it. But I guess you do want as much space as possible in an SUV. Heading over to more exotic cars, we have Ferrari first, and they brought the 296 Speciale, the amazing Pur Sangue with suicide doors, and of course, the 12 Cylindri with a V. I'm not really sure how many cylinders the engine has, but it's a V something. Not too far from there was Mercedes. And these are some nice cars that are more attainable for you and I. But actually, I spoke too soon, because right after seeing that, I saw that they brought a Maybach. Gorgeous car, and I'm starting to fall in love with monoblocks, but I don't quite love what they did with the hood. And of course, there's a G-Wagon too, which is obviously crowded, so I wasn't able to get to see the inside, but the outside is great. It's a G-Wagon. Everyone's seen that before. And yeah, I took some videos of this very nice Aston Martin Vanquish. I love the interior. And it was so busy at this point that I missed the Koenigsegg Jesko right beside it. Yep, I missed the Koenigsegg Jesko, which is the entire reason I was going to this show. Well, not entire reason, but the main reason I wanted to see the Koenigsegg Jesko. And the final vehicle is the Bugatti Mistral. And yeah, after that, we just wandered Toronto and ended the day at Cactus Club Cafe. And there's so much that I wasn't able to do, like camp Jeep. And I know they're Wranglers and not Broncos, but I still would have enjoyed the experience. And speaking of Ford, I wasn't able to go to their exhibit. I would have liked to see their Mustangs and Broncos and what else they have. And also I did go on the last day, so they closed at 6, but if I had gone earlier, maybe I would have, scheduled some test drives for some time, because I still haven't driven an EV. Oh, but fun fact about me are all the cars I've owned are Fords. I had a 2010 Ford Escape before this, and now I have a 2024 Ford Bronco. But maybe I'll go earlier next year and get some better coverage. As I promised, here's a list of the cars I would purchase. So if I had an unlimited budget, so a billionaire budget, I'd go for the Pagani Utopia, McLaren W1, or the Koenigsegg Jesko, even though I didn't see it. For realistic exotic cars, say a millionaire budget, I'd go for any Porsche 911 or the Ferrari 296 Speciale. And now back to reality. For a daily driver, I'd get a Hyundai Ioniq 6N or a Hyundai Crater if it is eventually released. But yeah, this was a different video, kind of like a narrative vlog, but only because I'm not really comfortable filming myself in public yet. But I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you thought of the auto show if you went this year, and I think that's all. See you next time. Surprisingly, it was very comfortable sitting in a Mustang at my height. 6'6". 6'7".